Hello, everybody. Thanks for sticking around post-credits. We're going to run a really tight Q&A, about 10 minutes. I'll give you a chance to percolate for a second. I first wanted to say thank you so much. This is producer Chester Gordon, by the way. You know, when your movie Pure Kids came out, you gave an interview with CBC where you presented the visibility of Black, queer, and trans youth within larger society as, I think the quote is, a nuisance at best and a threat at worst. Thinking of Black queer life on the Christopher Street Piers makes me think of probably my favorite movie of all time, which is Tongues Untied by Marlon Riggs.
Yay, love that movie.
In that movie, you know, you see Black queer men on the Christopher Street Piers holding up signs that say Black men loving Black men is a revolutionary act. So, this is my roundabout way of asking about money, funding. I think at the end of the movie, people were talking about being dropped from labels because people did not want to fund art that was so potent, so revolutionary. And so I wanted to ask both of you, there's been a sort of unconventional way that your films have come to the public. I think of Pure Kids being on POV, which is really interesting, especially thinking of this in context of the Trump administration and trying to defund PBS. So I was wondering if both of you could talk about how this film found financial backing and perhaps like larger strategies of how you get funding for your art right now.
Sure. Well, robbing banks is my go-to choice for funding. So if you want money really fast, go rob a bank. But if you're in this process with these films that we've been making, you know, it's not so quick. It took us. It's kind of hard to say because when we first pitched this, so this movie came together in a very interesting way. Roger Ross Williams brought this movie to me at New Fest, another iconic queer film festival out of New York, where my fiction debut, The Inspection, played, and Roger came to award me. And while awarding me, Roger took us to dinner, and Roger was like, "Hey, I've got this really great project. You know, Hillary Clinton, she's a house head." And I was like, "What do you mean she's a house head?" "She's a house head. She loves House so much she wants to make a movie about the history of House. And we would love if you would direct this movie about the history of House." So, you know, so from there, we had some pretty potent partners to start with. That brought us to Sundance, where we were able to pitch the movie to a captive audience of high net worth individuals and companies. And many of them said yes and helped make the movie that you see now. Sorry to go on, but the question behind the question about this kind of strange cultural moment we find ourselves in making revolutionary art that is not necessarily about just affirming the status quo, but interrogating the status quo, and dare I say, even suggesting a way better to live, a way forward to live. It is quite daunting. And I think that, you know, for me, it's just so funny because I remember I remember when the diversity thing started in Hollywood, like Oscars So White, and they were like, diversity starting, and I was like, really, when? You know? And then like 8 to 10 years later, they were like, diversity's over. I'm like, wait. When did it start? You know what I mean? So, you know, it's always been hard to be Black and gay in the world. It's always been hard to be queer in the world. It's always been hard to be an artist with something to say that isn't what everybody wants to hear all the time, right? What's different about today than when I did Pure Kids is that now it's okay to say your hate out loud. It's okay to say, like, the ruling assumption of most art in the world, in the Western world, is that it's for those with the most disposable income. And those with the most disposable income are those who have won in these battles of supremacy. Those who have won, white people, have the most money because they have taken the most money. So therefore, we must make work for those who have taken the most money. So anything that we say, it can't fuck with that sense of security that what you have, you're supposed to have. And I say, hell no. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. And because I believe in what I do, and I believe in each and every one of you out there as much as you believe in me, we're gonna get this thing done and we're gonna change the world.
Again, there's an audience award ballot that was sent to your inbox in case you want to support this type of work. As we ruminate on Hillary Clinton as a house head, are there any other questions in the audience? Right here?
Oh, wow. I'm going to say your question back to make sure I understand it correctly. Do I believe that because of the more hyper awareness that white folks have? What do you say it back, right? Sure. I think a part of the message I have with this film is that, as Madison Moore says so brilliant in the film, culture is promiscuous, it's going to spread. Appropriation is inevitable. And, I hope to be around long enough as an artist and have enough influence as an artist where I can point to all of the white people who steal from me. I don't know. I'm not in the mind of. I refuse to frame any notion of my liberation on some sort of timetable of white awareness.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience?
Yeah.
Question in the back here.
Okay, right there.
I just want to say thank you so much for that.
Okay.
I've been dancing for many, many years, and I really miss it. I've noticed a huge decline of people being in their bodies again. And I don't see people engaging the same way that it was represented in your film. How can we get back to that? How can we encourage dancing again, especially when it comes from our ancestors and through connection? Because I miss having the freedom of everybody around me just being in their bodies and not so self-conscious. And I don't want that anymore. I want us to get back, so.
You gotta dance. Go ahead. I love that question. I think that question, the answer is the question. I think something about social media, it started feeling like infinite freedom, and then it became infinite dread. Like, oh my God, everyone sees what I do all the time, and I have to look this way, and I have to wear this thing, and I have to go to this place and have this experience. And like, when it comes down to it, the best parties I've ever been to, there's always one person, usually me, who hears the music and feels the music and shows everyone else how to do it. So you be that person. It's you.
Yes.
How about feeling just that person? Like I said, we're running it tight. I'm so sorry. We're running a little over, but oh yeah. Okay, you got it. Last question.
Not to take too long, because I know everyone go home. Shout out to you. You ate that.
Word.
Yes.
Cornbread.
To another of our artists. What is one thing or one piece of advice you could give me and other Black artists in here? That's something that you keep with you that helps you keep your head above water when shit gets a little, sticky.
Yes. I want you to answer.
Keeping your head.
Right. We play house music.
The most important thing I can say is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Show up for yourself. Feed your genius. I spent 10 years of my life homeless because I believed people when they told me what I was capable of.
Yes.
And then one day I decided to believe in the possibility that there could be genius in me living in my purpose. And I decided to feed that possibility and to drown out all the other noise.
I'm glad you asked that question. That's a perfect way to end the screening. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you out in the lobby.
Thank you so much. Vote for our film.
Drinks and debrief. Who's that?
Baby.